Hey yo, there is a new Alliance quest up. Something different from Clash of Knights that we are used to see. I think that has happened about 4 times now. I think, yeah, I think 4 times, and I think SG decided, you know what, everybody's gotten used to the Clash of Knights event. Let's introduce a new one. So we have here the Musketeers event, and there are some brand new heroes that are out together with this portal summon. Basically, I think it follows the Musketeer novel, probably the Three Musketeer novel. I mean, it's basically the Three Musketeers, right? Athos, Aramis, and Porthos. And it also follows, I think, the Three Musketeers they were talking about. I have no idea how you pronounce this guy. D'Artagnan. Yeah, it's basically about the story of D'Artagnan meeting the Three Musketeers and basically going through the French politics and stuff like that. I remember Queen Anne was the Queen of France in that novel, and this guy Villiers was probably the guy hired by D'Artagnan to be his follower or something like that. I don't remember. So I have an issue with this portal right now, because when it was announced in the beta, they actually released a bit more heroes. They were actually 3 stars in there as well. I think Planchet was one of them. There were basically a couple of 3 stars, and then they also had a couple of one more 4-star and a couple other 5 stars. So basically what they're doing is they are releasing half now and maybe half later on. So that basically confirms that the next Alliance quest there will be another Musketeer Alliance quest, and they're probably gonna, hopefully they do it. I'm not sure if they're gonna do it alternately with Clash of Knights, but I guess we will see what happens in the next I think, was it 3 months or 2 months? Yeah, so let's look at what's available right now and see how they shape up with the current batch of heroes. I know SG has been releasing a shitload of heroes over the past few months. It's getting tiring, that's for sure, but I mean, as long as you're enjoying yourself by not chasing these heroes, I think that should be the idea of how you want to take this game. Naturally, I know in the top tier meta, where everybody is kind of like, I wouldn't say forced, but you reluctantly have to follow the meta. That gets yourself in a bad position. But I think this is, for the time being, I think if you're not in the highest tier, you should be fine. Okay, let's look at the main character first, D'Artagnan. It's a red 5-star paladin class. I'm only going to go through the passive ones. I think the family bonus and the passive ones, and then but it's an interesting one, and then after that I wouldn't do it for the rest of the heroes. So the Musketeer family, bonus for 1, 2 or 3 heroes. They give 50%, 75% or 100% chance to give cover to a random ally for 6 turns when this character casts their special skill. So that means when this guy casts, he picks a random ally and he casts cover. So while in cover, the ally takes no damage from special skill attacks or normal attacks. Wow, okay. This character takes 90%, 80% or 70% of the damage that would be received by the character in cover. So basically the Musketeers, doing something like they are protecting an ally. The effect can't be dispelled but ends when this character is defeated. Characters can only give cover to one ally at a time. So I think if that's the case, then the cover only happens once, and I'm not sure if he casts again, will he cast the cover again? I guess if someone knows that, maybe they can just comment that. So yeah, the members of this have additional perks in the Brave Musketeers event. Guys, if you're doing the challenge event, this is going to be one of the toughest challenge events you will ever do. I've just done rare and I'm feeling like I'm not going to be able to shoot for any tier placements. Like it's really hard, I think. But more than another time. Let's look at the passive. Damage on special skill and cover damage. When this character receives damage from special skills or in place of a character in cover, there's a 60% chance to deal 20% of the received damage to all enemies. So that's something like a riposte, how you can pronounce it. Yeah. So interesting passive. I see that they are basically, you know, as more heroes come out, as the newer heroes come out, they're introducing some interesting passive, and some of these passives are actually quite strong, like way stronger than previous iterations of cards that came out before this. So but yeah, those are interesting passives. I think you know, having randomness to the passive is what makes it fun, especially to like the family bonus. So I guess we shall see if this proves to be, you know, useful on defense or on offense. Let's see. So D'Artagnan, 834 attack, 797 defense, 133 health. Flaming Rapier, fast speed, deals 500% damage to the target. The target receives 849 burn damage over 3 turns. This effect spreads to nearby enemies. Now I'm assuming the burn damage will increase with his attack stat. So if you emblem him for attack and limit break him as well, I'm assuming the burn damage will go up to about 1,000, maybe. So that's about maybe about 300 per turn. Now it spreads, but because it's 3 turns, I don't know how much it can spread. So maybe it's only targeted to the flanks, I would assume. So we have seen a similar hero in this, coincidentally also from the Alliance Quest hero as well. It's Rain, the purple average speed that spreads poison damage. Now that one was different because it was less, 400% damage to a target, and then 1,300 poison over 5 turns, and she was buffed to that number. To me personally, I think Rain is better, but I can obviously see people, you know, having him and maxing D'Artagnan purely on the premise that he's a fast sniper and he does actually do something to the flanks, you know, not just on the single target itself. So yeah, decent hero. Naturally, the newer heroes, the stats will always be a factor that you have to consider. 834 attack and 797 defense is actually quite strong, I think. So once you like limit break him or give him some emblems, he'll naturally be quite tough, as well as he's a paladin as well. Alright, next one, Villiers. So this is a 4-star green wizard. The Duke's Investigation, mana speed average, deals 165% damage to the target and nearby enemies, summons a Spy Fiend for the target and nearby enemies, damages with 45% attack each turn, and then they disappear after absorbing 30% health. At the end of each turn, the Spy Fiend steals one of its target's dispellable buffs and gives it to one character on the opposite team. So basically this is something like a counter to Miriam. Like if you hit Miriam in the middle, every turn you basically get her either her attack boost or the health, what do you call it, the health boost per turn. Interesting hero. I like the design. Remains to be seen if it's strong, but the stats obviously very good for a 4-star. Once you give him emblems and if you limit break him, he's probably going to be quite beefy and quite strong as well. I remember there being a 5-star version of this on both sides, one fiend, one minion. So maybe we'll see if they actually release any of those If not, we'll talk about them on a later time. Right, so not bad. Now Queen Anne. So in the beta, this was slightly different. In the beta, I thought that Queen Anne was going to be one of the most ridiculous support heroes that you can get, and I'm actually quite happy with the change. So it's a green star cleric. A green star, did I just say green star? A green 5-star cleric. The Queen's Speech, slow speed. The caster gets taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on the caster ally for 6 turns. All allies get plus 65% defense for 6 turns, or allies get plus 44% mana generation for 6 turns. Now, in the beta, she was much stronger than right now. In the beta, she does get a taunt for 6 turns. Apart from those two, she also gave the allies 50% attack. The mana generation was actually 54%. And all the 3 buffs that she gave, apart from the taunt, were supposed to be undispellable. And that, that made it interesting, because you imagine if you do this in raid tournaments where where it's a buff booster, no raids, for example, and you put her as a tank, chances are she's gonna go off if you don't kill her, and you immediately get 3 undispellable buffs on all 5 of your allies. So that made her really strong. And if you do this for rush wars as well, especially if you don't have Ludwig, you give those kind of buffs to the defense, it's going to be really strong. But even now with this, I mean, plus 65 defense for 6 turns, plus 44% mana generation for 6 turns, that's actually quite good if you look at it from a defense perspective. Remember that, like, for example, Costume Albric, who gives a huge mana generation bonus, you can actually see when you attack into a Costume Albric that has already fired, their mana, they actually gain quite a lot of mana every turn, and that kind of like dictates how the pace of the battle was going to be. So even with this, like, plus 44% mana generation is going to be really strong. Obviously now that you can dispel it, it's a bit worse, but I'm actually happy that they changed it like this, so that it won't be overly powerful. Like, I thought that Queen Anne in the beta card that we saw was actually really strong. Like, if you get her, she was going to be instantly maxed, and you would use her in place of Ludwig, and then you can maybe introduce something like, especially if you have like the yellow super elemental reviver Zendria, then you don't have to use like Madanov or Kalo or something like that. Then you don't have to overstack on greens. So that made her really strong, and I'm glad that she's at this level now. She's still strong, don't get me wrong, but at least it's not on a unbearable level. So yeah, quite okay. Like 706 attack, you don't really care about the attack. 887 defense, that's high. 1573 health is actually quite good as well. So yeah, this is a strong taunt as well, and it's also the first green 5-star taunt that we have. The other green taunt that we have was Strawberry as a 3-star, and yeah, no one really liked him anyways. All right, next one, Athos, 5-star green monk, piercing shot, very fast speed, destroys all minions from the target, deals 470% damage to the target. The caster gets 20% mana for each destroyed minion. This used to be 25%, I think. The attack bypasses defensive buffs. This includes counter attacks. Okay, to me, this feels like a selfish Alucard. I think it's strong. I think it's okay, but I'm not a really good fan of. I'm not a huge fan of snipers. Like, he probably be good for, I don't know, to bring on offense maybe, but not really on defense. Like, I like how he destroys all minions first. I like the huge damage. And you also have to understand that 842 attack is really high for this. And the fact that you get 60% mana out of this, let's see if I do the math right. 60% mana, that basically means that another match, if like let's say you hit a target with 3 minions on 60%, that means you just need to do another normal 3 match. If you hit if it's a target with 1 minion, so that's 20%. 20% of 6 tiles would be 1 tile, so a diamond gets him there as well. So it's kind of like he gets faster as long as you deal with minion makers or targets with minions on them. So yeah, I can see this is kind of good as well. 1553 health for a sniper is actually really high. Reminds me of like Sartana levels, and I'm comparing him to a season 1 hero. Don't ever do that. But yeah, overall I think this is quite good as well. Next one, we have Aramis, a 5-star purple ranger, 869 attack. Wow, that's strong. 774 defense, 1388 health. Charmer's blades, mana speed average, deals 375% damage to a target and nearby enemies. So hit 3, count me in for this. Boosts all allies' health by 30% of damage dealt. Wow, I'm noticing that they're coming up with this sort of like hit and heal kind of hero. So that's okay. All allies are immune to new status ailments for 3 turns. This effect can't be dispelled. This is a freaking bomb. Like, you compare this with Chomper. I think Chomper is the other hit tree. Basically, Chomper deals bleed damage, heals. He doesn't boost health, he just heals for 30% if I'm not mistaken. And then he deals about 340 or 350%. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is sick, especially when you have something like the double costume Domitia to kind of like hit before that. Both of them are average speeds. So yeah, this is freaking strong. Like right now, I think this is one of the stronger ones if you compare the Musketeers. Interesting. It used to be boost for 40%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is insane. Alright, the last one, Portos, 5-star blue barbarian, 817 attack, 793 defense, 1485 health, so a bit more balanced. Musketeers Mead, slow speed, deals 355% damage to all enemies. Wow. Alters the power of all ice shields on the board, so they enhance it for attackers plus 64% attack, and for defending it's weakening it by negative 57% attack, deals extra damage against fire. So this is basically a 4-star Jot. So like, if you are aiming for really high scores on Mythic Titan, this will be a must-have hero if you are looking to min-max your scores. Well, I mean, this basically replaces Jot in Mythic Titan teams, even on regular Fire Titans, I guess. I like this guy, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, why would you want to improve on a Fire Titan team when, you know, right now people are already struggling to kind of like control their damage on Fire Titans? Like, if this was yellow, for example, if this was a yellow hero and alters holy shields, I think that would be much better. Hell, any other color, I think holy, dark, or even green or red would have been better than blue, I feel. But I guess this is, you know, this is how they kind of like want to milk the players. I mean, hey, we introduced Jot, and now we realize that in Mythic Titan teams you still have that 4-star they're using, right? Come, let me give you a 5-star and you can replace it with him. He's actually usable in Rush as well. I mean, 355% damage to all enemies is strong, and it deals extra damage against fire, so Khufu is not surviving if you're dealing, if you're dealing with a defense with Khufu on it. So yeah, overall, I would say none of these heroes are a must-have. Now again, my advice to people with the rate of new heroes coming up, don't bother chasing any one of them. Let me just give you an idea what the rate is. It's only an 8% chance for you to get Villiers right now, and a 1.2% chance to get either one of these new 5-star heroes. Do I even want any one of them? I don't know, but well, seeing as how I'm in a relatively good mood now, okay, I'm just gonna do 110 pull and then we'll call it a day. I am trying to cut down on spending on this. It's been exhausting seeing all these new heroes come out, and I have definitely spent way too much on chasing the other heroes previously. I don't recommend that to anybody. If you all got the new heroes, you guys were lucky. Good for you guys. I have been not to say chasing, I've been doing pulls for the past few portals and I've not gotten anybody new. I mean, I'm not really trying to complain or anything, but that's just how the luck can be, and can be pretty discouraging at some time. So okay, we'll just do 110 pull and then we'll end it there. But overall, as I mentioned, none of these are must-haves. If you get it, good for you. But yeah, I think it shouldn't be a point where people try to overspend or overpull in order for you to get these kind of heroes. So alright, let's do a 10 pull and let's see what we get. I'm hoping for more feeders to to feed my... I'm trying to level like 4 waddles right now from the previous portal, just for fun. But yeah, let's see if that works out. Let's see. I'm just gonna let it play out. Renfeld. Holy shit! Okay. I wasn't expecting anything. I got the worst one out of it, I think. Oh no, yeah, it's probably the worst one. Okay, oh, we got Villiers as well. Oh, this guy I'll level Villiers. Hell yeah. Well, it's not Aramis. Aramis was the one I was actually hoping for, but hey, hell, I'm happy. I don't give a shit. I have too many raids right now that I'm trying to level, but I do not have an actual paladin to level apart from Ludwig. But I'm not ascending my second Ludwig yet. So okay, maybe I'll level him first, and yeah, maybe play around with him. Maybe use him as like a secondary sniper. Hell, okay. Well, this is just the luck, I guess, and I'm happy to get Villiers as well. Gonna level him and try him out as well. I think I'll probably level him first, level this guy first, and see if he works well against all the M&M tanks that we are facing right now. But yeah, so far okay. That's a good thing. All right, so yeah. Hope you guys have good luck in your pulls. Do comment if you think that you have a different idea of how some of these heroes are, and see you on the next one. GG.